So, in my opinion, companies like Disney have proven that they do not do enough to protect Black actors who are in this kind of predicament, right? The ones like John Boyega and Amandla, who had to face senseless racism in the Star Wars franchise. I can only hope that Dominique Thorne has a strong team around her, because the reception to the trailer, the Ironheart trailer, has been full of bigotry. Let's talk about it. Way back in 2018, I put out the first book in my Xeraxia series called Xeraxia: Wrath of the God King. Now I'm so excited to let you all know that the sequel to that book, Xeraxia: The Vengeance of Coldwind, is out now. Anywhere you get your ebooks and audiobooks, you can find it there. I'm talking about Amazon, Audible, audiobooks.com, Google Play, like it's all there. Also, you can go to www.xeraxia.com to purchase it directly from my site. Check out my series, check out the first book, and make sure you get the second book because it's out now. I'm so excited. All right, y'all. So the trailer for Ironheart just dropped, right? And when I last checked, it had 6 million views. And I was kind of gagged that it had that many views to begin with, but like 6 million views. But there were 261,000 dislikes compared to 161,000 likes. Keep in mind, these are the numbers as of when I'm recording the video, so I'm sure when you're seeing this, is the proportion is going to be even more out of whack, right? Now, don't get me wrong, right? I watched the trailer, and I don't think that the show is gonna like knock my socks off or anything. Like, I mean, I think it's gonna be better than Miss Marvel. I think it's gonna be better than She-Hulk. You know, like, I think it's gonna be better than some of the stuff we've seen, but I don't think it's gonna rock my wig like WandaVision did the first time that, you know, we watched that first. Like, I don't think it's gonna rock my wig, right? It gives a little bit of CW energy, whatever. Like, granted, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say how I feel, right? But the hate that it is getting to me is undeserved, and it's racist. Of course, I'm a Black superhero, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever fan, and so I cannot help but notice over and over the patterns of how, oh my goodness, it just takes one Black person to ruin the entire show. It takes a Black lead to ruin the entirety of the show for some people, and that is insane, which is why I think companies need to constantly push out messaging that says, hey, that's crazy, y'all are bigoted, these actors, these actresses are talented, and that's why we picked them, and y'all gonna have to deal with it. But they don't do that. Some of these companies don't do that. They want to make sure they get every dollar from every side of the aisle. They want to make sure they get every cent. And so they don't make these statements while also casting minorities. You're gonna have to make a statement, boo. You can't just cast these minorities in front of your incel fan base, and cast these minorities and not say, if you want to move the needle, you want to move stuff, you want to be, that's why I was talking about Wheel of Time, like, you want to be recognized for diversity, you want to be seen as doing the work, then you're going to actually have to do it. You're going to have to go out of your way to make these statements. You're going to have to go out of your way to protect Black actors. As the company, you're going to have to go out of your way. Put that in the budget. Just like you got marketing, all that stuff, it put in the budget, put it in the budget. You got minority actors, and so you're going to have to make extra statements. You're going to have to, but if all you want is brownie points for saying, hey, we hired somebody Black, hey, we hired somebody, and you don't actually believe in what you're doing, then this is how you're going to treat it. You're not going to protect the actors. You're not going to protect these actresses who are out here getting harassed just because they're doing their job. You know, the companies need to do a better job. And as for the racist, bigoted people dragging Ironheart before they even seen it, if y'all were the ones slapping your knee slapping, right? Laughing at Deadpool and Wolverine and Love and Thunder, like, if y'all thought that those were actually entertaining, like, movies, Ant-Man 3, y'all have no room or right to judge Ironheart, especially before y'all even seen it. The way y'all dragged Eternal so bad, and then I went in there and seen it, and I was like, oh, y'all were just mad because it was gay people and minorities in here, because this movie is objectively not bad. Girl, y'all are willing to watch Robert Downey Jr. subpar acting for 10 years straight and even cheer Marvel on when they make the regressive decision to bring him back, a decision that displays their stagnancy and lack of creativity, at least in the MCU. And yet, when something a little bit fresher, a tiny bit fresher comes out, all because it has a black woman lead, y'all reject it. Y'all reject it. And that's why I don't be arguing with them at all, because they try to say, oh, well, we just don't like when a character is race swapped, whatever that means. But then we tell them, oh, well, it's an original character from the comics. And they're like, well, the character shouldn't have even been created in the first place. They moved the goalpost. The character shouldn't have even been created in the first place because Marvel created her just to be a black version of Iron Man and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so mad because they're like, oh, well, she ain't really a genius because Tony Stark was able to build this suit in a cave and she can just do it easily in an environment where she's surrounded by tools and help and money and MIT, whatever. Girl, if Tony Stark built what he built in a cave with only rocks and dust at his disposal, then it must not have been that hard to build, girl. Not everybody booing me. Not everybody mad and booing me. If Tony Stark used pebbles and dust and rocks and stone, dirt to build that first suit, it was objectively, he didn't need much to build it. So, y'all gonna be so mad when I say that. So, of course, when Riri gets to MIT, she can build it with tools. And besides, y'all comparing IQ levels and trying to decide who's smarter than who, when Marvel has already told you who's smarter than who. Yes, Marvel has officially stated that Riri Williams is smarter than Tony Stark. This assertion comes directly from Brian Michael Bendis, the writer who introduced Riri in the comics. In a 2016 interview with Time magazine, Bendis emphasized Riri's superior intellect, stating she's smarter than Tony. So y'all mad at all the wrong people. Y'all mad at black people. Y'all mad at fans who don't care that Ironheart. I mean, it's Ironheart who don't care to drag Ironheart. Y'all mad at all the wrong people. You need to be mad at Brian Michael Bendis, the writer who said that that Riri is smarter than Tony Stark. That's it. That's it. Y'all are just racist people. That's it. Who are obsessed with Daddy Stark. Daddy Stark. Won't Daddy Stark put on my little nano suit for me? Won't Daddy Stark put on zip up my iron suit for me? Daddy Stark. Y'all are so obsessed. Y'all are so obsessed with RDJ. Like, black people can't even be smart. They can't like science. They can't display their prowess. Even when they're imaginary characters. Even when they're imaginary people. Black people. Girl, and all of this could have been avoided. Honestly, we should have been deep in Young Avengers by now. We should have been set up Young Avengers. We should have been had a whole team. The movie that we should have been excited for should not have been the one where we all have to go sit and pretend like we don't see Iron Man when Robert Downey Jr. comes out here as Dr. Doom. It should not have been that movie. We should have been deep in Young Avengers right now. What happened to Patriot, Eli? Y'all know what happened to him? Girl, it's a mess. It is. I think that the whole structure, the planning, all this stuff is a mess as a whole. And we could talk about that. But the racist, the bigoted dragging of Ironheart before we even see the show, it's a mess. And they keep trying to compare her to their daddy, Tony Stark, to their daddy. They can't do anything without their white daddy, without their white straight man daddy, Daddy Stark. Like, oh my gosh. Y'all complain about, oh, we need new stories, we need fresher stories, and then when one come, just because it got a minority in the lead, everybody these white people acting crazy, bro. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let me know what y'all thought about this. What y'all thought about the trailer. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll check y'all later.